Masturbation is not a harmless habit. It is a slow, silent saboteur, disguised as pleasure, feeding off your energy, focus, and time. What starts as a coping mechanism becomes a cage. A daily ritual that begins to rot your discipline, your drive, and your connection to reality. This is not self-love, it's self-disruption. Every climax drains more than just your body, it drains your mind. It hijacks your motivation, distorts your emotions, and manipulates your sense of control. It floods your brain with a cocktail of neurochemicals: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. But these highs come with a cost. The more you indulge, the more the brain adapts. Receptors down-regulate. Tolerance builds. Soon, the same screen, the same clip, the same act isn't enough. You need more. You chase it. Again. And again. Until you're no longer in control. The habit is. 1. Compulsion is not desire, it's dependency. This is where the danger begins. Masturbation, once voluntary, turns compulsive. You don't do it for pleasure anymore. You do it to escape, to soothe stress, to fill the void. But the relief is temporary. The damage is not. The World Health Organization recognizes this pattern as compulsive sexual behavior disorder. It's an impulse disorder, a behavioral addiction, and it does not care about your willpower. If the act becomes repetitive, if it brings distress, if you try to stop and can't, then you're already trapped in a loop. This isn't about libido. It's about compulsion. A high libido still respects boundaries. It chooses. But compulsive behavior overrides choice. It's an autopilot you can't shut off. That's the difference. And it affects millions. Quietly. Daily. 2. Your brain is being rewired. Masturbation reshapes your neurology. And if done compulsively, it corrupts your reward system. Every release triggers a massive dopamine spike. Your brain, flooded with false rewards, starts to reject ordinary joys. The sunset doesn't feel right. Conversation feels empty. Work feels pointless. Only the act remains rewarding. This is neurochemical hijacking. Your dopamine receptors shrink in sensitivity. This is called downregulation. So you need more stimulation to feel the same effect. More explicit content. Longer sessions. Darker fantasies. And slowly, your brain stops associating reward with real achievement. Now it links it to escape. You're not addicted to pleasure. You're addicted to numbing pain. 3. You are training your body to feel less, not more. Repeated masturbation to pixels and fantasies decouples arousal from reality. You teach your body to respond to fake stimuli. Over time, real intimacy feels foreign. People seem distant. Physical touch feels dull. Emotional connection feels unnecessary. You train yourself into isolation. And worse, you become emotionally dependent on this self-stimulation. When stressed, masturbate. When sad, masturbate. When lonely, masturbate. Your coping mechanism becomes your prison. 4. The energy cost is invisible but massive. Every ejaculation releases prolactin, drops testosterone, and induces fatigue. You feel relaxed for a moment. Then comes the void. The lethargy. The low-energy fog that follows isn't coincidence. It's your body paying the price. Late-night sessions destroy sleep quality. They fragment your circadian rhythm. You wake up tired. Your mind is foggy. You think it's the stress or your job. It's not. It's the habit. That empty feeling after release isn't a bug, it's the consequence. 5. It's a spiritual and psychological trap. You feel shame, guilt, not just for what you do, but because you can't stop. You hide it. You promise to quit. You relapse. Again. Each time, you break trust with yourself. That erodes confidence. That kills hope. And it's not just internal. Relationships suffer. You withdraw. You lose desire for real intimacy. You compare people to pornography. You expect perfection. And when reality doesn't match fantasy, you detach. This is how partners feel unseen, unwanted, betrayed. This cycle breeds isolation. And from isolation comes self-hate. You begin to believe you are broken, unfixable, alone. But that is a lie the addiction whispers to keep itself alive. 6. Behavioral change isn't optional. It's essential for survival. You cannot break a compulsive habit without changing your structure. If your day is ruled by idleness, then you are giving addiction an open door. You must build a schedule. Wake up with intention. Block your time. Pre-plan your hours. Boredom is the enemy. It whispers temptation. Fill every gap with something active. Work, exercise, creativity, or service. Structure kills chaos. And you must replace the reward loop. Masturbation is a fake reward. But your brain is addicted to the feeling of relief. You need new sources of that relief, real ones. Walk fast. Train hard. Read something that hits you. Connect with a friend. Make art. Take a cold shower. Your brain still wants the chemical high, so give it a natural one. Your hands aren't the problem. Your lifestyle is. 7. When habit turns into illness, medical intervention saves lives. Some battles need more than willpower. Your brain chemistry may be working against you. This is where science steps in. Certain medications can take the edge off the compulsion. SSRIs like fluoxetine help stabilize serotonin, the neurotransmitter tied to obsession, anxiety, and compulsion. In severe cases, antiandrogens like medroxyprogesterone can suppress the sexual drive itself. But this is a powerful tool and must be used under strict medical supervision. This is not weakness. This is strategy. If your mind is fighting you chemically, you arm yourself accordingly. But pills are not the cure. They are a tool. The real change begins with diagnosis. A trained psychiatrist or sexual health expert can see the deeper layers. Maybe it's OCD. Maybe it's hidden depression. Maybe trauma lives beneath your habits. You need someone who can see what you can't. 8. Isolation feeds addiction. Connection kills it. Silence is the breeding ground of relapse. Hiding makes it stronger. Shame loves the dark. You need people. Start with a therapist, someone trained to hear the worst and not flinch. Weekly sessions become your war room. You show up. You report. You learn to fight better. But you also need others on the front line. Join a peer group. Sex Addicts Anonymous. Porn Addicts Anonymous. 12-step rooms filled with people who know your struggle. No judgment. Just truth. You walk in broken. You walk out armed. Also, choose 1 or 2 people in your life you trust. A partner. A brother. A best friend. Tell them everything. Lay it bare. The truth will hurt, but it will free you. Because as long as you lie, the habit wins. As long as you hide, the compulsion grows. You are only as sick as your secrets. 9. Relapse is a risk. Prepare for it or be consumed by it. If you don't have a relapse plan, you are gambling with your progress. You must predict the battlefield. What are your triggers? Midnight scrolling? Loneliness? After work fatigue? Write them down. All of them. Now create a response for each. Feeling the urge? Call someone. Take a walk. Do 50 push-ups. Leave the house. Don't think, just move. You are not trying to eliminate urges. You're training your brain to react differently. Every relapse must teach you something. Review your journal weekly. Study your slip-ups like a general studies defeat. What time? What emotion? What thought? Extract the lesson or it will repeat itself. Even when you're clean, the work continues. CBT exercises. Mindfulness drills. Accountability check-ins. You don't stop just because you feel better. You keep going because you know how easily it can all return. 10. The path to freedom begins with brutal self-honesty. Write down when you do it. Why you do it. What emotion comes before the urge. Identify the triggers. Is it boredom? Stress? Loneliness? Shame? Know your pattern or remain its prisoner. Set rules. Not vague hopes, rules. For example, I will go 7 days without touching myself. Or, no screens after 9 p.m. Keep it simple. Track your streaks. Celebrate victories. Learn from relapses. Never lie to yourself. And know this, you do not have to fight this alone. 11. Treatments that actually work. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps you rewire beliefs like, I need this to feel okay. It teaches delay strategies. Wait 15 minutes. Urge surf the feeling. Replace the habit with action. Workout. Cold shower. Call a friend. Move. ERP, exposure and response prevention, can break obsessive thought patterns. Face the trigger. Deny the response. Over time, the trigger loses power. You regain control. Mindfulness teaches you to watch the urge without obeying it, to sit in discomfort and choose who you want to become. It builds that crucial gap between urge and action. Acceptance and commitment therapy helps you define your values. Who do you want to be? What life do you actually want to live? When you anchor yourself in purpose, you can endure discomfort for something greater. Final truth, this is a war for your life. You are not battling a habit. You are battling a system, neural, emotional, social, spiritual. But make no mistake, recovery is real. Thousands have escaped. Not through luck. Through relentless, brutal self-discipline. Through structure. Through therapy. Through honesty. Through falling and rising again. And you will too. But only if you accept this truth. No one is coming to save you. You must save yourself. With strategy. With commitment. With pain. And with purpose. You don't just quit masturbation. You transform. You take back your energy. You take back your mind. You take back your future. And you begin right now. They tell you it's harmless. They tell you it's normal. They tell you it doesn't matter. But they are wrong. So deeply, dangerously wrong. Behind every click. Behind every video. Behind every image. There is a silent war raging. A war for your mind. A war for your heart. A war for your future. Pornography is not just entertainment. It is a force that reaches deep into the brain. It reshapes who you are. It rewires what you desire. It trains you to betray your own longing for real connection. Most will never see the damage. Most will never understand why the world feels colder, why relationships feel emptier, why happiness always slips away. But you will see it. Today, the mask falls. This is not about fear. It is not about guilt. It is about truth. Truth that can tear through the lies. Truth that can set you free. Listen carefully. Because once you understand what pornography does to the mind, you will never look at it the same way again. Why pornography destroys the mind and is deeply harmful. 1. Pornography rewires the brain and damages its structure. The brain is a living organ that constantly reshapes itself based on what it experiences. This ability, called neuroplasticity, is normally how we grow, adapt, and survive. It is how we learn languages, develop skills, and change habits. But pornography hijacks this very ability. It latches onto the brain's deepest reward circuits, those that evolve to encourage survival behaviors like love, bonding, nurturing, and connection. Pornography floods these circuits with unnatural amounts of dopamine, far greater than anything found in genuine human relationships. Over time, the brain adjusts. It resets its baseline. Everyday life starts to feel muted, boring, hollow. True connection begins to lose its flavor. Key areas take damage. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for judgment, self-control, and planning. Pornography weakens it severely, much like hard drugs do. At the brain's reward center, areas like the nucleus accumbens and ventral tegmental area become hyper-attuned to pornography, while real-world joys fade into the background. Neuroscientists have even documented physical shrinkage in the brains of heavy users. This is not just psychological dependency. It is real, measurable, biological damage. Pornography does not simply influence the mind. It scars it. It warps it. It rewrites it for the worse. 2. Pornography breeds addiction that escalates. Addiction is not about the object. It is about the cycle of compulsion despite harm. Pornography fits this model perfectly. It follows the same brutal pathway seen in drug and gambling addictions. First comes tolerance. Users need more intense or more deviant material just to feel the same excitement. Then escalation. Boundaries fall. What once disgusted can soon become desired. Finally, withdrawal. When deprived, users feel restless, depressed, even panicked. The brain gets reshaped to demand ever higher levels of stimulation. Natural joys, real intimacy, authentic pleasure, no longer satisfy. Brain scans reveal that dopamine receptors shrink back. The mind becomes numb to normal happiness. This is the same damage pattern seen in alcoholics and meth addicts. Porn trains the brain to forever chase a moving target, satisfaction that flees faster the more you pursue it. 3. Pornography turns human beings into things. Pornography is never neutral. It is an education in dehumanization. Every viewing session sends a brutal message. People exist only to satisfy your cravings. Our emotions and dignity are obstacles to be ignored. Consent, patience, compassion, irrelevant. And repetition carves these lessons deep. What we practice, we become. Exposure after exposure builds habits of thought that can grow permanent. Consequences quickly follow. A reduced empathy, genuine care for others weakens. Increased selfishness, relationships turn into marketplaces of taking. Twisted beliefs, real intimacy becomes about performance, not connection. Social psychologists warn this effect is real and measurable. Chronic pornography use hardens the heart. It normalizes aggression. It weakens altruism. It trains the user to see others not as souls, but as commodities. Pornography doesn't just tarnish your view of others. It hollows out your own ability to love. 4. Pornography destroys emotional connection. True intimacy is delicate. It requires vulnerability, trust, sacrifice, and a willingness to risk rejection. It demands time. It demands effort. Pornography offers a deadly counterfeit. It offers instant reward without effort, novelty without loyalty, control without negotiation. And slowly, but surely, it trains users to seek only the payoff. No risk, no giving, no real engagement. The muscles of real relationship, patience, forgiveness, loyalty, weaken through disuse. The effects are devastating. A loneliness grows. A emotional dissatisfaction with partners sets in. A trust erodes. A secrets multiply. Studies show couples where one partner uses pornography heavily are far more likely to suffer betrayal, coldness, and divorce. Pornography doesn't teach you to love. It teaches you to run from it. It replaces real bonds with hollow compulsions. 5. Pornography warps sexual expectations and destroys satisfaction. Pornography presents a scripted, commercial fantasy. Bodies are unrealistic. Performances are exaggerated. Emotions are absent. Reality is stripped away. The brain consumes this fantasy over and over, until it mistakes it for truth. Then, when faced with real intimacy, disappointment erupts. Partners are compared to fantasies they never agreed to replicate. Human flaws, awkwardness, tenderness, all become irritants rather than treasures. Consequences are brutal. A porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Real partners fail to arouse because the brain now needs extreme stimulation. A low sexual satisfaction. Normal human love seems tame compared to the constant novelty of endless scrolling. A body shame and resentment. Partners feel they must compete with fantasy figures, a battle they cannot win. Sex therapists now report an explosion of young men struggling with sexual dysfunction directly tied to pornography. This was unheard of before the digital age. Pornography does not just poison pleasure. It rewires it. It makes reality feel broken, when in truth it is the heart that has been broken. Pornography is not harmless entertainment. It systematically deforms the mind, weakens the heart, and shatters the ability to connect. It reshapes the brain physically. It chains the will through addiction. It darkens the view of others. It strangles real intimacy. It sabotages real-world love and real-world pleasure. This is not about shame. This is about truth. This is about reclaiming dignity. This is about healing the mind. This is about learning to love and be loved as we were meant to. Awaken. Reclaim. Rebuild. You've tried to stop. You've made promises. You've felt the guilt, the shame, the emptiness. And still, you fall. But this is not just about discipline. This is about understanding the trap you're in, and how to break it completely. If you're done being a slave to pixels, if you're ready to reclaim your mind, your body, your purpose, then this is the solution. 5 steps, each one built to attack a different part of the addiction. Each one grounded in science, truth, and warlike intensity. This is how you win. Now listen, and fight. 1. See porn for what it truly is. You cannot destroy what you still enjoy. Porn is not entertainment. It is a neurochemical trap. It rewires your brain's dopamine system, damaging your ability to feel real pleasure. It teaches your mind to crave pixels over people. Your natural desires begin to rot. Your connection to real intimacy withers. You feel numb, yet hungry. Internally, it creates a war. One part of you craves, the other part regrets. This is not pleasure, it's psychological self-harm. Fact: brain scans of heavy users show shrunken reward centers, just like in drug addicts. So stop treating it lightly. See it as a poison that drains your soul. 2. Cut off access like your life depends on it. Because it does. You cannot heal while still bleeding. If porn is always a click away, you will lose. Discipline crumbles when temptation is too easy. Remove private screens. Block access. Install filters. Downgrade your phone if you must. Move internet use to public spaces. This is called radical amputation. Just like a limb is cut to stop an infection, you must sever connection to save your future. Truth: even a small delay in access can break the craving. Frustrate the habit. Starve it. 3. Know that willpower alone will fail. Willpower is real, but weak. It fades with stress, hunger, fatigue. The brain can't fight endlessly. That's why you need systems, not just strength. Build routines. Avoid boredom. Schedule your day with intent. Use alarms to break the trance. Stay ahead of your urges. Studies prove habits are stronger than motivation. Design your life to win by default. Beating porn isn't about being tougher. It's about being smarter than the trap. 4. Replace poison with powerful pleasure. The brain won't stay empty. Remove porn, and it starts screaming for dopamine. You must feed it something better. Move your body. Hit the gym. Learn a skill. Pursue goals that build you. Surround yourself with real connection. Family, friends, community. Fact: dopamine from porn is short-lived and empty. But dopamine from growth, effort, and love is deep and lasting. You don't just need less darkness. You need to light a new fire. 5. Master your thoughts the moment they appear. Every relapse begins in the mind, not the body. The image. The fantasy. That's where the battle starts. And where it must be crushed. Use the 3 Rs. A refuse. Slam the door on the thought. Don't negotiate. A replace. Think of your mission, your family, your future. A redirect. Move. Stand. Walk. Do push-ups. Reset your state. Neuroscience confirms. Thoughts lose power if ignored early. But the longer they stay, the stronger they get. Kill it when it's small, or it will grow into a monster. This is a war, not a phase. Not a casual fight. Porn is attacking your brain, your spirit, your future. These 5 steps are your weapons. A see the enemy. A cut off its supply. A stop relying on willpower. A feed yourself real joy. A fight thoughts before they become cravings. Do this with fire. Do this with honesty. Do this like your future self is watching, because he is. And if you stay in this battle, freedom becomes inevitable.